Good afternoon, everyone. We are 100 Years Enterprise, Season 6, Consequences of the Street Life. My name is Fahim.
Dante.
Patrick.
And before I introduce our next esteemed guest, little text to our interaction. I was on my way to a fitness session one day, and I received a phone call from a good friend of mine I've been known a long time ago. And he's like, man, Fahim, man, I got somebody I want to introduce you to, man. You going inside these institutions and juvenile halls. He said, man, you might know him. And he said his name is Kelvin Brooks. Kelvin Brooks, welcome to the show, my brother.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about being here. Thank you.
Yes, so before we begin, how did you hear about 100 Years Enterprise?
Man, so working at Solano County Juvenile Hall, we've been looking for programs to bring in and, work with our youth. So the paperwork or brochure of 100 Years came across my desk. I'm looking, hey, this seems like something that we need to look into. So a long story short, we thought we had a meeting with you guys.
Wow.
And it turned out it was a whole different program. Mm-hmm. So once again, I'm like, oh man, all right, somehow, some way, we're going to get in contact with these guys. And once again, when I got that phone call, our mutual contact said, hey, I got somebody for you.
Yeah.
Put us on three-way. Hey, we already had a meeting with you guys. And it was more like, nah. So, as we start talking from your voice, I was like, oh, this guy means, he's something serious.
Right.
Let's go ahead, set up something, and see how we could work with this organization. So, once again, I'm happy even to be in this setting right now.
And again, thank you for coming on. Mm-hmm. Because it's a Sunday. We reached out. You could have been doing anything else.
Oh, yeah,
and especially with your position and situation. So you say you come from Solano County Probation.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I've been a program coordinator with Solano Probation for the last 3 years. I've been with the county for 10. Mm-hmm. Being in the position, I've been able to bring in programs to help our population, which is the youth in Solano County, Vallejo, Fairfield, Vacaville, and just providing them resources, providing them opportunity to be better individuals once they leave out of juvenile hall. But I don't just stop at juvenile hall, providing services after when they get out of juvenile hall, providing them with contacts and other information for them to be successful once they get back to their families.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Well, let me dive in here. Because I remember when we met you, you took us through a walkthrough.
Yes, sir.
And show us what the outline is of the juvenile hall and what you have available for the youth. And I guess we was there to talk about programs that we can provide.
Yes.
But I want to go back a little bit further, right? Because I want our audience to know the person.
Okay.
Right? That's carrying this vehicle, that's driving this car, right? So I want to know, before you started doing this kind of work, who were you and what you was about?
My story goes way back, San Francisco, Hunters Point, with my father, Kelvin Brooks Sr. Okay. He and my mother, Evian Ballard, both totally opposites, but opposites attract.
Yes.
So growing up, I tell the kids now, I grew up confused. What I mean by that is my dad was in the streets, my mom in law enforcement. So where, they divorced when I was probably 3 years old. But going over to my father's house and seeing, everything he was into, the street life, whether it's drugs, whatnot, that was what he was into. As a young man, sitting there like, oh, damn, this is how my father's living. This is how he's surviving. This is how I'm supposed to survive. But then I go back over to my mom's house, 9 to 5, working, and it's like, man, all right, both are saying that this is the right way to live. And I'm a person, I sit back and I watch. I learn from others' mistakes. I learn from how people actually make it through life. So seeing what my father was going through, seeing what my mom was going through, is more of, all right, which way do you want to go? I have an older sister, and she decided to go a different direction where, she spent a lot of time behind bars in prison, doing everything else. And I decided, you know what, let me go this route. So, leaving from San Francisco, going out to Vallejo, I participated in the Omega Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
That club, Mr. Fillmore Graham, changed my life as far as seeing what it is to be a man. Because a woman can't show a man or a boy how to be a man.
Right.
They could show what they would like to see in a man, but they can't show a boy how to be a man. So I was able to be around positive male figures at the Omega Boys and Girls Club. Once again, Mr. Fillmore Graham, he passed away, but he changed a whole lot of young boys' lives coming out of that Boys and Girls Club. So I was able to go to college, devoted, pretty much just saying, hey, I want to give back to my city. From there, went over to probation, and a lot of people were like, if you're trying to change lives, why are you going to probation?
Right.
My mindset, where a lot of people in my family didn't necessarily agree with, in our culture, actually. It's more of police, that's a no-no. We don't talk to the police. My mindset is I could change that. I could make it to where somebody could look at law enforcement and be like, hey, that guy Brooks right there, he's cool. I could talk to him. I could, so I wanted to help with changing that mindset.
So let me ask you this, Mr. Brooks. How old was you when you moved to Vallejo?
That was fifth grade, so what, 10 years old?
Okay. So, being that this is about the consequence of the street life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your daddy, he was into the life.
Yes, sir.
Your mama, she was a law enforcement, right? So that struggle. So, because you didn't see both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
The consequences of the street life, what Pops is doing. Now I see what Mom's doing. She's in the law enforcement. So that struggle. I mean, was it really a hard challenge for you?
It was, but it wasn't. I say it was because, once again, it was just my dad. It was my family. I have family members going in and out of jail. I have family members, like Thanksgiving. we go to our aunt's house out there in Excelsior, and they make comments like, to my mom, hey, you ain't in no jail cell. Stop walking around here like you in the jail. And I'm hearing this like, and my mom like, hey, you already know, she's going about her business. Where it was more of a conflict was pretty much being in North Vallejo, I had peers who start dabbling, start testing the waters. Once again, I used to see a whole lot. So I'm like, do I really want to go over there? What I used to do, hey, are y'all going over there? I'm going over here. I'm just going to chill over here, Hey, holla at me when y'all want to hoop, So I used to make the conscious decision to just venture over this way and just watch from a distance of what they're doing. It got to a point where my partner, she's like, man, you a buzzkill, bruh. Like, man, hey, we over here. It's cool, Then I became that friend who was, hey, if I was y'all, I wouldn't even go over there, man. It's nothing but issues over there. We already know what it, and this is back, high school. That's 99 to 2003. So, there was a lot of stuff going on in Vallejo as far as with, the North and the South and things of that nature. So I used to just, what? I'm about to go over here. I'm about to, and then I have, once again, these mentors. If they did see me, late night at a party or something, hey, come over here. Man, what you doing? I'm about to go tell Mr. Graham. And that's the last thing, we wanted was anybody telling Mr. Graham of anything that we were doing negative. But he knew everything got back to him. So it was one of those things where, hey, I'm living, or not living, but I'm trying to make sure that, my mother is proud of me. I'm trying to make sure that, Mr. Graham is proud of me. So I made sure that, hey, let me not keep my name out there, or let me just do everything that I'm supposed to be doing.
Peer pressure.
Yeah,
That's on that.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Stay
avoided it.
strong.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
tested you. Mr. Graham, was that in San Francisco or Vallejo?
That's
in Vallejo.
Vallejo.
Okay. So how is it now seeing your friends, those who you had to shy away from?
Man,
How was it today? When you see them?
so it's one of those things where I just had my 39th birthday on Friday.
Okay. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. So a buddy of mine hit me up, was like, man, out of all of us, you stayed on that side. You didn't let, because Cass was doing drugs and everything else. And once again, it's one of those things where I know where that could lead to. We used to talk about, knocks and people, being under the influence. Oh man, he's fiending. Man, that could be us, but we need to stay away from that. So I had a buddy hit me up and was like, man, hey, I just wanted to let you know how proud I am because of the work that you're doing in the community. People talk highly of you. And I'm like, hey, and that's, the work that I don't do it for, the praise. I do it because it's the work. It's the purpose. My purpose is to help others. So when I'm doing that, and I get that from my mom, that's, I get a lot from my mom and my dad.
Right.
The purpose I get from my mom. The hustle, the grind, I get from my pops. So when people are saying, hey, you can't do something, that's my pops come in. Hey, I'm going to make sure that I could get something that I want.
Exactly.
I could bring these programs in. I could reach, the highest of the highs and grabbing individuals to come talk to our youth.
Yeah.
So
That's deep. Because, growing up, we all gave probation a bad stigma. And probation still catches a bad stigma until you understand what goes on inside the probation department. So you hear about probation, they finna come, they gonna jump out, they gonna get you there, act like the police. You see the badge, you see all those things, right? But now, once you go inside the probation department, see what goes on. Because we go inside of probation now. We used to be, man, I ain't going to see my probation officer. Damn, I get a dirty piss test, all this other type of stuff,
Yes,
right?
sir.
We had to deal with that. But now working inside of probation, we have firsthand knowledge on how it is to try to really help the youth and steer them from making early death decisions. And that's what we do, and I commend you for doing that.
Yes.
I want to just put that out there.
Yeah, I want to follow what Fahim said with the commending you too, man, because I'm looking at, as I'm listening to you, right, I'm actually picturing you living your life that way, right? So I want to ask a question: where do you get that foundation, like to make that? Because as young people, right, we know we easily influenced. I got influenced with cats driving past me in Cougars, Mustang, donkey ropes on, pounding my favorite music, got the brightest bra in the car. So now I'm looking like I'm going to be that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? How do I get that, right? But I didn't have that foundation.
Yeah.
That to tell me that, give me an alternative or something to look at other than what I was looking at, right? Because when I go outside my door, Oakland, that's happening,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Especially in the 80s, right? So my point of the question I'm asking you is the foundation. Who helped you, did you get it from moms or you get it from pops? Because you had the best of both worlds in regards to discipline.
Yes. So the foundation, I credit my mother because she showed me something different. She showed me the 9 to 5, the working, the story that just popped in my head was, she worked in the San Francisco Sheriff's Department. We'd be riding down 3rd, and a car pulled up. Somebody, hey, Ballard. And I'm looking, and this is me at 9, 8 years old. Life is all about choices. I remember what you told me. I'm doing well. And I'm looking like, that's the same thing she'd be telling me and my sister. Life is all about choices. So the foundation comes from her. Now, in my father's later years, he became a community activist. He went back to the right there in Hunters Point, and he wanted to see better for his community. And that's what actually, when I start seeing this, I'm like, hey, the dad that I knew, is totally different from, 15, 20 years later. A father who's, calling me, hey, son, I just want to let you know I'm proud of you. That's something that I didn't get. So I'm proud of you, and what you're doing is big for those youth. And then to have the family members, my uncles, my aunts, come behind him and say, "Hey, what you're doing, I wish, I wish we were able to see more of that."
Exactly.
And that turned into my motivation. So when people you could have people in the community who don't necessarily understand why it is that I go so hard to bring in programs, why I go so hard to bring individuals into these young men's life who are incarcerated.
Right.
I go hard because of the acknowledgement from my family.
Yes.
Because once again, these are all individuals at one point in time. Hey, we don't talk to the police.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're in law enforcement. You got to sit outside for a minute before you even come in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's more of they see what I'm doing. They see that it's for a purpose. And it's not on some, hey, let's sit here and violate. No, I'm not in it for that. I'm here to provide services, resources, and an opportunity for you guys to do something more than what you've been known to do.
Right.
So let me ask you one more question.
Uh-huh.
What kind of programs do you have in juvenile hall as of right now that you established?
As of right now, brought in a culinary program through Airmark. It's called, it's drawing a blank, but we have a culinary program in there. I brought the Creative Hope Studios into Juvenile Hall, where it's an actual studio, full-blown studio. We have a guitar, the equipment and everything. We have a trades program. We're starting our apprenticeship barber program. I just got 3 kids their personal training certificates. They said they want to be personal trainers, so I said, you know what, let me go look up some information. We have 3 certified personal trainers in there right now. They said, man, hey Brooks, what gym do you think we could go work at? So I reached out to Muggsy, Ep03's little brother. He owns a gym out there in Vacaville, Fitness Explosion. So had him come in, talk to the kids about fitness and everything else like that. Cali Muscle from LA, he came to talk to the kids. So anything that the youth are interested, I reached out, hey, you want to be a real estate agent? And when they grabbed 2 real estate agents, came, talked to the kids. You want to be in politics? Got Shaman Walton from San Francisco. He came and talked to the kids. That was big for the simple fact that, Shaman Walton, he led the charge on closing down the juvenile halls in San Francisco. Okay. So for him to come up, see what we're doing, and he said, man, what y'all doing here is great. Y'all providing resources. Y'all providing skills for these young people. Like, this, if everybody had this, we wouldn't even have to push for that.
Right.
But it's all about, in my mind, providing resources, providing services, and making sure that our young people have an opportunity to, there's a whole lot of hurdles that are in our young people's way. With a majority of our youth, they're interested in barbering, but barber college costs $15,000-$20,000. So if you're staying in for a year and a half, 2 years, why not eliminate the cost and have the county take that cost, have them participate, and give them the opportunity to get their license while they're locked behind bars, while they're doing their time.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's just some financial literacy. I had a financial literacy group, career development group going on right now. Soft skills group. We try to make sure that we're teaching pro-social customer service skills. That's very important. It's a lot. I mean,
You're doing it, man. You're doing it. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to commend you on all the programs and touching these young kids' lives, because it's needed.
Yes.
And again, if we had more brothers, as well as sisters like you, get into these, get deep into these youngsters, because a lot of us really don't care. Mm-hmm. I mean, we walked through the juvenile hall in Solano. in Solano County. Loved it because of what you're doing to trying to make a change. And we most definitely really need that, not just in Solano, but Martinez, Alameda, all the juvenile systems. Because guess what? The ones that's coming through is us.
There we go.
And the system is designed for us. And so what we all do as well is, it's not just about stay out of trouble. It's about making them aware of what's really going on. Because didn't nobody tell me that the system was for me. I had to learn the hard way. So, man, I commend you. Man, keep doing what you're doing, and let us continue to collaborate.
Yes, sir.
Because it's not over with. It's not over with.
Yes, sir.
Really not.
Yeah, you said something. You was at the club, and your partner told you your mentor. You mentioned your mentor way back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of rare.
Yeah.
That's kind of rare to really understand that you had a mentor back then, because we talk to young men, even ourselves. We ask the question, what were you missing, or what did you need in your life back then, what maybe could have saved you from going down the wrong path? And it's a mentor. The mentorship, being able to grab a young man or a young woman to say, hey, let's try something different, and ask those questions. What's really missing in your lives? And oftentimes they say they don't really want to admit it, but it's the love, and inside the house. So much goes on, in different areas where we come up in. And so 25 years ago, it was unheard of to have so many different programs coming out of these institutions, let alone juvenile hall. Because when I came to juvenile hall, put your shoes outside the door, no shoestrings, and also you ain't finna do nothing but play ping pong, basketball, and go back to your room. It was nothing like that. And then go to Y or go back home, continue the same pattern. So, yeah. And I also want to say one more thing. We're going to have to connect about getting a barber college inside Martinez and getting a fitness program, because 2 young men asked us about that.
And we can most definitely work on that. One thing that I will just share, even in Solano, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we didn't have what we have now. And I think the direction of juvenile reform is going towards, providing more services, providing more programs for our youth. And I think we're going towards the cognitive way of doing things. Let's train the mind, and, mind controls the actions.
Yes.
With Solano and the programs that we brought in, I'm most proud of, yes, the barber program, but we also have our culturally responsive programs. Okay. We just mentioned it's us who are in there, but it's our black and brown people, young men that are filling those rooms. So we were able to reach out to El Jove Noble, Milpa, so they provide services for our Hispanic population. Also, a program that I'm proud of is the Omega Men's Group.
Okay. Yeah.
Once again, this is a group that I created for changing my life. So I was able to get that program into Solano, and where pretty much our boys Keystone meetings, our boys Torch Club meetings, all the things that I participated in at the Boys and Girls Club, we are providing for our youth over at Solano. Okay. And the young men love these groups because they're able to talk about what's going on in their communities. We're able to talk about what's going on nationally, worldwide, and have these discussions, because oftentimes that's something that we lack.
Yes.
We don't have the conversations as men,
Exactly.
About talking about what's going on in the White House and how it actually affect us, or knowing that our local politics really impact us and what they decide to pass through with these voting and everything else like that. So we have to be aware of these propositions and everything else like that.
Absolutely.
So just letting our young people read it and hold on, this is actually about to affect us. They're building what?
Yeah.
And having these conversations,
Yes, exactly.
like, all right, now you guys, it may spark the interest of somebody wanting to go into local politics and things of that nature. So that's something that I'm real proud of, is the Omega Men's Group, because once again, I know how it impacted me.
Yes.
I got. So I want to jump in with this part here too, because I think this is very important. I want you to help us out with this. The credible mentors. We call ourselves credible mentors, right? In regards to, I remember in the early '80s, even in the '70s, they always have mentors available. Right? On the YMCA's and stuff like that, right? And as a kid, I never really wanted to, I never seen that as an interest to me. I had to go to the big homies on the block, right? The big homies, right? So when I seen the mentor, it didn't resonate that they talking about me, possibly, right? So here we are today when we're talking about the credible mentors, right? What do you look for in a credible mentor? Say, for instance, some guys come talk to you, and want to come into your, facility and help them young men. What do you look for in a credible mentor?
You guys. For the simple fact that you've been in the shoes of others. You've been in the shoes of this population. So your story can be impactful, but also seeing where you're at now. That's very helpful for someone, and I'll share this story. We had a young man, Amara Willis. He passed away a week after he was released. Before, he was one of the kids, has so much potential. He'd sit here, he could tell you what you said a month ago. Hey, Bruce, you said life is all about choices. You said this, boom, boom. He could relay the whole speech. His father, from his mindset, his father lived a certain type of lifestyle. But his father cleaned himself up, and now every time you see his father, suit, tie, ready to go to work, he comes in, and he had an issue with that, this kid. My father lived a life that he's not telling me about. My mom told me all about his life, but he's not telling me anything about it. Your father bumped his head for you. You see where he is now. So with this young man, once again, we had this conversation. My father just so happened to pass that Friday. I didn't go to work Saturday, didn't go to work Sunday. I came back on Monday just to talk to that young man about the importance of having a connection with your father. The young man was released. I called him, said, hey, you need to take, your father bumped his head for you. We shouldn't hold back certain these things of, hey, he's not telling me about his past because he's showing you who he is now. He don't want you to make the same mistakes he did.
Exactly.
All right, bro, yeah, I got you. A couple of days later, the young man passed. They were having they were raising money for him, and I just so happened to talk to his father. And he said, man, Brooks, thank you. Thank you for what? We're here for your son. And he said, I know the conversations that you had with my son. You helped him. He spoke highly of you and other staff members here. But I just want to say thank you. And I told him about this conversation about you bumping his head for your son. And he said, man, it's something about him he was hard-headed because he didn't want to see that side. He wanted to glorify that part of my life. And I'm showing him, like, hey, you can make a change. So when I think of credible messengers, I think of those who could relate, but at the same time, it's not glorifying a lifestyle, but it's more like, hey, you can make the change. We've bumped our heads for you. I've been your age, you've never been mine. I've been the direction in which you're heading, but I'm trying to deter you to go back this way because I know what's over that gate. I know what's, lying ahead of you. Exactly. So when I think of credible messengers, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of those who are here for the youth, who are here to change the community.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We hear about the work what you doing, and it sounds easy, but it's always a flip side of that. The pushback. Yeah, they don't let us just, teach and engage our community the way we want to, we need to.
Yes.
So let's talk about the pushback.
I would say, politics plays a huge part in everything that we do, especially when it comes with, the government and, counties. I know my purpose.
Good.
That's something that, you could take my position, but you could never take my purpose. So when I say I'm here for the youth, I'm here to make a change in the youth lives, that's what I'm going to do. Now, if someone were to throw a wrench in a game plan, once again, my mindset has always been, I'm going to make it happen.
Definitely.
It took 2.5 years to get a studio in there. It took another 2 years to even get, 2 years to even have the thought of a barber college in there. So it's one of those things where, hey, if I say I'm going to do something, hey, I'm willing to take on that battle.
Right. And your purpose is felt. Because for that young man, Dad, to approach you the way he did, that means that young man was speaking highly of you. As you know, the father felt it, and believe me, he didn't told his family members also.
Yes, sir.
But it's not just that one kid. You touched a lot of kids. You touched us. We tell people about you, about our experience of coming inside Solano County. You know what I mean? We connect, emails, Instagram, we connect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You part of us now.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that, and shout out to our mutual friend, who connected us. He still call me, crack his little jokes and everything. He know who he is. And man, I appreciate you for coming on. I know we got a few minutes left. Want to give a shout to Chevron, our first sponsor, for a little bit what they help us with. And any plugs you want to give out?
Oh man, just a huge shout out to anybody and everybody in the community who's doing something for our young people. Out there in Vallejo, we have Watch Me Grow Inc. That's Jamila Hanif, neighborhood hope dealers out there in Fairfield, Wordsmith, Real Fairfield, LB. And all the great staff that we have with Solano County Probation, Nadia Holloman, Ed Holloman, and there's so many. Big Will, those Connors, those who are there to do the job, the purpose of the job, and making impacts in these young people's lives. And and thank you to you guys for even having me on your platform.
Yes, sir.
I really do. Thank you guys for having me here.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, people gonna want to follow you, and they're gonna ask some questions. Man, where that guy at? So where can they find you at? What's your Instagram?
The Instagram, Kelvin21707 on Instagram. Also, do the dog training stuff. So Chloe B. the Dobie on Instagram, do a little dog training on the side. Our mutual friend right there.
Yeah.
And those two locations.
Exactly. I might need a dog soon too.
Oh, hey, yeah, I got the Dobies on lock. So, yep.
Yeah.
One thing before we close, Mr. Brooks, is that, man, I'm proud of you, for not allowing the peer pressure to send you down the wrong path,
yes,
like I did,
Absolutely.
So it's truly a blessing. And when I meet, guys like you that never been to the pen, I tip my hats off to you,
Yes, sir.
So I'm proud of you. Keep pushing, and like I say, we're going to work together, collaborate together, and make a difference, because that's our mission, to make a difference.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then just another shout out to you, just to say, again, like Dante and Fahim was saying, we're proud of the work that you do, and we need to highlight more of those who haven't, went down the path that we went down, because those same brothers come from our communities. Everybody on the block didn't go to jail.
There we go.
You know what I mean? So we want to highlight that too. So we appreciate your walk, man. Appreciate the relationship we have with you, man.
Thank you.
And we'll be seeing you in the future.
Yes,
You
sir.
know that.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew this. No, but we did go inside the juvenile hall. We took pictures all outside. We was just so elated, you know what I mean, by just by the connection, my brother. We appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
For sure.
sir.
We really do. Yeah,
sir.
And again, we are 100 Years Enterprise. But before we close out, you can follow us on Instagram, 100 Years DOP. Hit our website, 100years.biz. Go to our YouTube page, 100 Years Podcast, or the acronym. You see it, 1HYE. You know, you see that, you know exactly what it is. Go to Spotify. We there, 100 Years Enterprise, was Apple Podcasts and Patreon coming soon. We got our man Gabe G26 behind the camera, Gabe Production. Peace out, Gabe. We appreciate you. And we out. Consequence of the Street Life.